Welcome back to the Inner Core Show. I am your host, Mr. B. In this segment, we are discussing Charleston White's latest interview with Vlad TV, where he talks about his beef with Shaq. I didn't even know he had a problem with Shaq. But apparently the two men aren't getting along, and there were some threats made. So Charleston White goes in and tells that story. So let's jump right in and see what that's about.
So what did Shaq say?
Shaq indirectly avoided that statement and started speaking on an interview that I had just recently done with Rainwater, Mo3's former manager, after he had just left my city doing a song with the rapper Twisted Black, who I've known to publicly have problems with, and get on there and call me a snitch and a rap boy, and then send, because me and Shaq got some personal people in Florida that we know. Through Aiden, they calling me with the man, let's meet up. And these people willing to go to jail and kill behind Shaq. But then I got Whack 100 sending me some information that'll make the FBI come back and look at Shaq.
Okay.
I got Whack.
Shout out to Shaq.
Shout out to Whack.
Me and Shaq go back.
Shout out to Whack. So now I didn't know Shaq done been involved in some gangster shit. Shaq done been involved in some gangster shit that made the FBI. And then the nigga he calling me is a real thoroughbred big dog that I got a lot of honor and a lot of respect. And he said, homie, I thought we was like family. I just talked to Shaq 3 weeks prior to this. So he said, man, I thought we meant what happened. So Shaq now making it seem like it's all me. I never said nothing directly to Shaq until he said what he said to me. Then I started saying, well, I used to have a young lady I used to mess with, Shaq used to be interested in, Diamond. Then I know another young lady Shaq done tried to fuck on that I done fucked on and say he got the shrimp dick. So I started shooting below the belt. You know what I'm saying? I heard, you done heard it too, Vlad. That's why you
below
laugh.
the belt.
Yeah. So I was hitting him below the belt. You know what I'm saying? So then during the big dog call, shout out to Sincere, shout out to Big Wheel or Aiden Security. Yeah, when the big homie called, man, I'm like, come on, my nigga, you gonna crash out over this? I know you, and they were serious about this.
So are you married or not married?
I'm separated.
Separated.
Yeah, I'm separated.
Okay.
With a very understanding wife.
So you plan on getting divorced or you just gonna keep it like this?
Man, for better or for worse, to death do us part. If I can do what I want to do as a man, why would we divorce? I can do what I want to do as a man. I got a woman who loved me enough to let me be the kind of man I want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, because if your woman loved you, sometimes she do things that'll hurt her to make the sacrifice to see your happiness. When a woman, she makes a sacrifice that hurts her so you can be happy as a man. She may not take a job. She may, real women do that. Bitches and hoes don't. Bitches and hoes have to win all the time.
That's funny, man.
So let me finish saying it. So when a big homie called me, and he dead serious, because Shaq changed lives. Shaq changed lives. I go take that from him in a great way. I got people that's willing to do the same thing for me. But I'm telling the big homie, he gonna let you crash out over him being wrong? Him being wrong? Right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what he said? I can't argue with you. Every time I rebuttal him, I can't argue with you. Nigga, you gonna lose yours. You gonna throw your life away. Your wife go cry. Your kids go miss you. Cause Shaq wrong? What the fuck is this man with $1 billion doing in the comment section of a YouTube video? What is he doing down here arguing with the peasants?
Because we all are peasants.
We're all peasants, but what is Shaq? What is he doing down here with the peasants, man?
Shaq is so much richer than us.
So that I was baffled, and once I got the homie to see that, I said, nigga, me and him were just on the phone. So when I saw the comments of him tripping, I was taken aback. So once I sent what I sent to him and showed him where he down here talking with the peasants, everything been cool ever since. Shaq just got in his feelings. Him and Rainwater fucking the same girl right now was polling. I'm just in the middle. So this ain't really got nothing. I'm just in the middle of a love triangle, man. I say I'm just in the middle, and because I said something, I think he used that moment. And then cause I was with Rainwater. He just left my city. I'm saying, come on, Shaq. We was just on the phone together, nigga.
All right. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Okay. I'm not surprised. You can take the most affluent man, the most accomplished man, put a woman in between him and whoever else, and you're going to have a problem. Apparently, Shaq is outside with a lady that seems to be having relations with one of Charleston White's people. And I guess for him speaking on it, or the girl is coming back and saying certain things, or I guess there was a girl that Charleston White had dealt with that has dealt with Shaq. So, you know, Charleston White's a comedian, but he really don't care poking fun at everybody. So he's going in on Shaq. Now, Shaq is also not a type of dude that anyone should play with. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is an athlete. He's a renowned playoff, you know, basketball Hall of Famer. You know, he's got his street cred. Shaq's a real dude, man. And the thing is, he's a good dude too. Like he's got a good heart. He does a lot of good things for people. I like Shaq. You know, I don't have anything bad to say about him. But it doesn't surprise me that whatever the source of the problem that he's having involves a woman. And Charleston White is in the middle of it because of that very thing. This is why I got to say, man, sometimes a woman will get you jammed up. You got to pay attention, fellas. You know, sometimes it be guys who know better, too. They'll catch feelings for the wrong chick. And that chick don't got no loyalty to that guy. She's outside seeing multiple people. And this dude is ready to crash out over that person. And this dude probably almost lost his life as a result of having people call because they know Shaq. And if Shaq puts in a call, I'm sure a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, are going to take the call and hold Shaq down. And apparently it was somebody this dude knew already that he was able to reason with. And there was no problem because the dude was able to see where Charleston was coming from. But, you know, women can get in the middle, man. I'm telling you, wars are fought over that. That thing is lethal, fellas. You got to pay attention. Sometimes that's why you guys specifically make sure you strapped up all the way. Don't be skinny dipping in that pool. Start building all sorts of bonds and stuff. You know what I mean? To a woman, and next thing you know, you playing protected to a chick who's not your woman. She's everybody's woman. You know what I mean? She's dealing with this dude, dealing with that dude. Clearly, there must be something. How does this dude have information about this lady to be able to, you know, tell a story like that? But, you know, that's kind of that Hollywood thing. There was another thing that came up, too, is why is it that a lot of dudes, specifically in that circle, why do they end up dating and recycling the same women? And somebody actually made a valid point, is that certain women are part of that inner circle because they've been let into the circle. And so because these guys have such busy schedules, you know what I'm saying? They're not outside recruiting new women to come into their circle most of the time. So if a woman keeps popping up where they're at, she's on the menu. You know, even if she was so-and-so's girl the last 2 times he's seen her, but she's giving an eye. She's giving you the vibes that she could be on deck for you. And before you know it, she's sliding the number. Before you know it, this side conversation. Before you know it, you're getting a separate private invite to some event. And before you know it, she's now juggling, you know what I'm saying, 2 different men or 3 different men, depending on what it is. And now she's got a reputation of being friendly to everybody. Now, this is actually interesting because CAMRON did an interview this morning that I thought was so interesting. So I'm gonna go in and find that CAMRON interview this morning because I thought that was good. There was an interview this morning that CAMRON did. And I think Anton talked about it. Let me go ahead and play that interview. It was a pretty interesting interview. It's a fact. Oh God. I gotta bring this back. Hold on. I gotta find. I gotta. There it is.
Made this up.
All right. Let me bring it back.
Careful, man. If you got a girlfriend, don't be embarrassed out here. This is probably one of the worst times I have a girlfriend. You will be embarrassed, my nigga. Me and PT was talking, and he was like, "Damn, that's that nigga girl now, huh?" And and he claiming her. I don't know if they know who she is or what she done.
Dirty
but
game
everybody else. But yo, you gotta be careful, man, because you know some of us, and I pick and choose to be totally honest with you. Depends on what friend it is. I know some that be with hoes and like them, and you be like, you can't really tell this nothing because he'll get mad at you for telling him.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll get mad at you for being like, now you know she's so and so, and we're like, how you know?
Yeah. You always like that. You a hater.
Yeah. How you know? What you think? I just made this up? Nah. Or not, I talked to her, then 3 days later, I talked to her about it. It wasn't.
Yeah, I told her what you said and all that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. it wasn't like that, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, all right, I'm not telling you. Then you got some, you could tell them like, yo, you know, shorty a hoe. And you be like, oh, she a hoe? Word? And then they'll make the choice. Either, see, like me, right? I'll give you me, for example, right? I'm very selective on who I say is my girlfriend or something like that.
Facts.
Now, think it might come to me like, Kelly, you know, she so. I'll be like, all right, cool. I don't give a because it ain't my girl. I'm just hitting it, whatever. But if I'm taking that into consideration, then I want to know that information. Like, oh, that's what's up. You know, it's girls that come to me, right? And they're probably going to see this show because I'm still cool with some females, right? And they'll say, Cam, you've been leading me on. I don't want to use the word lead me on. Like, yo, why we don't f around for real? Like, yo, we could be together. Like, and I'm like, yo, just have fun. Be together. Why wouldn't we be together? We getting older.
Facts.
Because you gave Sugar a hand job 8 years ago. I ain't forget about it. It's just...
And that's, yo,
Fact, man.
You know what the funniest part about this whole conversation is that when you have conversations with guys that are truly, truly in love with a woman and he's emotionally attached, and women are going to get mad about this, there's nothing you can say to that guy at all. And that works to the woman's benefit. And congratulations to the women that are able to, you know, finesse a guy into being with her and to ignore all of the things of her past, even when his homeboys tell him, hey, listen, I don't know if that makes the most sense with you. And that's how a lot of these NBA players, right? A lot of these NBA players are even familiar with the women that they're getting pregnant or the woman that they're messing with or that they're falling in love with. And then they'll get upset when the internet, because their relationship will go public, and they'll get upset at the internet when they start criticizing or having a conversation about what their relationship is like. And it's like, but don't you know what the history of this person is? And we choose to ignore it. Some of us choose to ignore it. Me personally, I don't think that and I'm an advocate for marriage. I'm an advocate for relationships, but I think it's very difficult once you've, discovered or you understand the nature of what people are and what goes on. It's very hard for you to put that out of your mind and to not think about it. It's almost like the illusion of you being the greatest guy in the world to her, or you being the only person that was meaningful to her, is more important than the truth. And for a lot of guys, it actually is.
What you thought I forgot because 8 years passed? Nah. If you borrow one of my friends, or if you give my friend a massage, never wifey, never. If you do anything with anybody I fuck with, I'm never wifing you. Now, can we be friends, cool, hang out? Yes, absolutely. Nigga, enjoy the ride. Pause. Let's have a good time. Yo, I've been thinking. No, don't start with I've been thinking. I've been thinking. Nah, that ain't gonna go your way. I've been thinking. So you fellas be careful out there, because I know some people outside right now that they look crazy. And this, the people I'm talking about fall in the category where I'm not telling them, because they'll start making up dumb shit. Nah. She wasn't sitting on his lap like that. She just fell.
Yeah.
She slipped in the club. And then she fell on his lap. So people had took a picture at the time and made it seem like that. Dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? So you guys be careful out there. Like, I'm not going to say the name, right?
Never say the name.
Even though I should, but I'm not.
No,
I'm
always
be
keep
respectful.
it G.
It's an artist, I'll say. I'll call him an artist. And this artist, we was all young at the time, coming up, everybody coming up. And it was this hoe from my block.
Jesus.
And this dude was on the come up, this artist I'm talking about. He's really on the come up, man, high. And they was like, yo, he fucking with so-and-so? I'm going to call him Sean, and I'm going to call her Mary. Sean, he like, not Sean. I know Sean ain't fucking with Mary. We like, damn, that's crazy. Because we ain't that cool with Sean. We just know he's on the come up. Sean called my phone one day, Pete. He said, yo, man. Yo, Killer, what's up, man? I say, Sean, what's up, nigga? I see what you doing your thing out there, man. You killing out there. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, he said, yeah, man. Yo, you don't fucking with Mary, right? And I say, yeah, I heard. He said, yo, nigga said she a hoe. Is she a hoe? I say, yeah.
You told him the truth.
He said, like that? I said, like that, nigga. Yeah, you know what happened? I ain't gonna lie. She was actually Zeke girl one time, and then Zeke left her for cheating on him. Hoe like that. She fucked Zeke's cousin. I was like, he's like, but like, you know how nigga, like, you know how nigga, like, don't want to hear that? Like,
I want to hear
but
it.
like, I'm saying, like, fuck, like.
In denial.
Can't be.
Like, yo, did you see it?
Yeah, like when you say that, how long ago was it? Last night, nigga.
I gotta weigh in here. The reason why that is, though, let's talk about it. It's what happened. Some females, some ladies. Let me be politically correct. Some ladies, they got that thing on them, and next thing you know, they will that man in. They start doing all that freaky shit you ain't never really experienced. And next thing you know, you wrapped around shorty finger. You sending money. You know what I'm saying? You ready to crash out. You somehow, have bonded with the lady to such a point where you now start feeling like she's yours and yours alone, when you know that not to be the case. So even though men around you is giving you the real on who she is and how she is and what she does, you don't want to believe that, because in your mind, You've allowed yourself to emotionally connect to the lady in such a way that prevents you from seeing this clear as day for what it is. And unfortunately, a lot of people end up dying like this, man. A lot of people either crash out, go to jail, or die over stuff like that. You took a woman who didn't have no real values or self-respect for herself, who is okay being everybody, somebody, you know what I'm saying, who was outside, and you allow that person to finesse you to a point where even when you're hearing the truth about who they are, and what they do, you're in denial. And this is why he's saying you got to be careful out here. Sometimes our feelings, we're tempted to let our feelings get involved because we think we could change a chick who's got maybe some promiscuous ways, who moves around in a way that some would call whorish. Sometimes we feel like we can change that. Nah, sometimes, fellas, you got to take a step back and ask yourself, is this situation worthy of you doing the most for? And most of the time it isn't. If we just keep it at 1,000, it's really not. To me, it's why are you crashing out for a woman, or why are you defending the honor of a woman who doesn't defend her honor on her own? A woman should care about her reputation to a point where why would you want to be with multiple men catching multiple bodies, especially men that's in each other's circles? Like the fact that anybody could come to you and be like, yeah, I was, my man's hitting it right now while you dealing with it, is crazy work to me. For you to hear that and to think, nah, you lying on her name. Come on, bro. Really? Come on, bro. Sometimes you got to accept that. Like, yo, get your feelings out the way. If you having a good time with the young lady, you got to move swiftly, but you can't allow your emotions to get involved to a point where you're ready to crash out. In the earlier segment, we talked about Charleston White, and Shaq apparently got an argument and a beef all over women that they both have dealt with, or him having knowledge of him dealing with another woman, and now he talking about it and saying certain little things to get a check, saying the woman said he wasn't packing and da-da-da, and now they talking, now they beefing because they smashing the same women. And now this dude's like, wait, you trying to come for my image? Now he's protecting his honor. And all of this is over, pardon my French, a scallywag. Shorty who's not really worth all of this extra back and forth, but you making more of it than you should. And what CAMRON is saying, for most dudes, man, don't go in there leaning in thinking she's, the absolute one, miss. Nah, that's a dub. You gotta check the Carfax. Some people will call it the whole facts. You gotta just check the paperwork. Go check the paperwork. What's the paperwork? Well, ask pointed questions. Figure out what the past movements were. Talk to people who may have been in the circle who know her. Call around. If you in a new town, you may know a couple people. You know what I'm saying? Ask a couple questions like, shorty, I mean, when I go to a new town, I connect with my man. Listen, bro, I met this chick. You seen her before? You know her? How you know her? What's the situation? You know what I mean? If you got relationships like that and you can, and if homie's like, oh yeah, shorty been moving around. Don't sit here and like fight the information. Like, just tuck it away. Like, oh, she's moving around. Okay, I gotta pay attention to that. Because you mess around, let your feelings get involved, and you get blindsided by some stuff. The next thing you know, you crashing out, and your whole life is upended. Either you losing money, you catching a case, or whatever the case. It's not worth it, man. So guys like this that's talking, it may seem like there's a lot of bravado. It may seem crazy, but there's a lot of gems. The bigger point here is that buyer beware. Anytime you go buy a car, you want to see the Carfax. What is the history of what this car has been through before I make this investment? Sometimes The car may have been through whatever, and you just like the car, and you just gonna deal with whatever issues the car got. Okay, the car went through a car accident, it crashed. All right, it's a rebuilt engine, it's a salvage title. Okay, there's there's some seals around the engine that's cracking. Okay, now you're making an informed decision about the product that you were buying. I think that applies when you're dealing in your relationship and you dating people. You gotta pay attention. Same thing, ladies. You talking to a dude, he just got out from his 3rd domestic violence case, miss. You got to do some research. I got sisters, so I gotta, this is what I'm telling them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have my sisters walk into a situation with a busted dude who likes to put his hands on women. I know I'm going to jail over some stuff like that. So I'm gonna talk to my sisters. Do your research. Make sure you understand what you're walking into. You know what I mean? Like, read the car facts. What is going on? What the dude facts or the girl facts? Read the facts. Do your research. Do your due diligence. You have to. Can't walk into it blind. Know what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with a shorty and she move real funny, she talking to dudes, and you know what I mean? Like, you can't unsee these things. You gotta understand, like, okay, if she moving funny, I can't get caught slipping. It's a lot of dudes that's died. What's the guy's name in Houston? I think he's Houston or Dallas or something. Mo3. The way this dude died is there was a girl that apparently he was dealing with, and that's Rainwater. What's his name? Just mentioned it. Charleston White just mentioned Rainwater used to be that guy's manager. The dude died because he was dealing with a girl who was connected to his ops. She was like literally in their neighborhood, and this dude liked having sex with her so much that he went over there in the middle of the night by himself with his guard down, and the whole time she was setting him up with the people who wanted him dead. And after he had his time, she alerted his ops, and next thing you know, he's on a car chase and he gets gunned down in the middle of the street. It's captured on camera. The dude died because he was dealing with a girl and he didn't walk into the situation knowing what the situation was. Like, you got to move a certain way. People are losing their life over stuff like this. So you can't take nothing for granted, man. You can't be outside and somebody's telling you, no, she's like that. She's, she kind of gets around, and you want to be in denial. That's crazy. I got sons. I need them to be informed because it's a dog-eat-dog world outside. I got daughters. I don't want my daughters ever be, to be perceived as, the type of women that would, like have a reputation like that. So conversations need to be had on both ends. This is not for anybody to disrespect anyone. Whoever wants to live their life, let them live their life. But don't be a victim, you know what I'm saying? Or don't be in denial and refuse to accept the information. The information is critical. The man's talking, he's talking about it in the same way that any guys would talk about it. We sit around and we laugh about the situation like, yo, this is crazy. Like, shorty's moving around. The whole Megan Thee Stallion thing. She's known for moving around. Guys would sit around and talk like that. Oh, yeah, I dealt with that. Or my man dealing with that. Or, yeah, oh boy was just hitting it, da-da-da. She know da-da-da. That's how dudes talk. So if you're a woman right now even watching me, this is game. Like, the dudes are telling you how they talk. Don't be the type of woman that gets talked about like this. You know what I mean? You got to protect that kitty. Yeah, everybody can't have access to that. You got to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I think it's crazy that a woman will come in and sleep with a bunch of dudes in the same circle. It's crazy work to me. It's wild. What do you think? They're not going to talk about it? Like, these dudes are not going to have a conversation and be like, oh, you dealing with shorty? Oh, okay. My man was just, this is how we talk. Like, yo, yeah, my man was busting that out. Like, what do you mean? Been there, done that, man. You got to pay attention. It's a real situation. Let this man finish, though.
Well, you dropped off. No, I'm exaggerating. That part I'm exaggerating, but then cool. So then I got, at the time, my nigga Digger, you know, and I know people are grown and have kids and relationships and everything. So I'm talking about when we was all 19, 20 years old. Digger fucked up. Digger hit me. He said, yo, that nigga Sean called me. Asking about Mary. I said, yo, she a hoe? I said, what you tell him? He said, he asked me if I hit it. I said, no. I said, why? Why'd you lie to him? He said, I don't know. I said, threw me off. So you part of the problem. You part of the problem. Listen, and I didn't know Sean good enough to just be running up to him and tell him. I would never tell him, but how he tracked my number down and everything else, I felt like it's an obligation. He got to the point where Sean had an older cousin does do a real good in the business as well as also. And I have mad respect for his older cousin, super duper respect. He called me. I said, yo, what's up, cuzzo? I call him cuzzo. Yo, what's up, cuzzo? He said, Killer, what's up, man? How you, man? He older than me. Hey, what's good, man? I said, nothing, I'm good. He said, little cuzzo caught a bad one, huh? I said, yeah. He said, it's bad? I said, yeah, man. It's bad, man. They trying to fight the power.
They don't want it to be true.
Yeah, because you know why? He was already emotionally involved at that point. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that is.
I gotta be careful, man. You know,
dangerous.
It's dangerous, man.
Dangerous.
It is dangerous, especially for guys that get emotionally attached to somebody before they truly understand them. That's why I'm a huge advocate for knowing a person, right? And when I say knowing a person, I mean you get to know a person without any kind of preconceived notions, and you get to see who they truly are. That's how you know you equally yoked. That's how you know you're going in the same direction. I'm not even a fan of dating, meeting a person, falling in love with them, and then starting to do all of that stuff, because you only talking to a person's representative. You're not talking to a person and who they truly are and what they truly represent. And so it's difficult for you to find a person or to be into a person and not truly understand who that person is or what their history is. And so a lot of guys become bitter and jaded, and women also become bitter and jaded when they get found out, because they're trying to hide their past, which I think is predatory in itself. Facts. But that's a whole nother conversation. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I'll actually pose this question on Room 9. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T. Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate it.
That's your man, Anton Daniels. Y'all can definitely support him. I mean, he kind of summarized that video with CAMRON. But, yeah, man, there's some lessons to be learned in this situation. Again, none of this is meant to bring anybody down. People are going to move how they want to move. They're going to do what they want to do. You know what I mean? This is not to make fun of women who's outside being promiscuous. If that's what they like, that's what they like. That's what they're into. I'm just saying, a lot of times men are green and they don't understand what they're dealing with. You know what I mean? And they end up getting emotionally attached, emotionally connected to the situation. That's not what it is. You know what I mean? So sometimes, and it could be anything, anyone. You know, if a lady don't respect herself enough to want to protect her kitty and keep that stuff sacred, bro, there's nothing you can do to defend that honor. You can't fight enough men. You can't pay enough money to get her to close her legs, bro. It's a done deal. So you're either gonna walk into it eyes wide open. You're gonna see it as just a slide. Can't be nothing serious. Or you're gonna be a victim. You're gonna crash out and do something stupid. It's only two options. I'm sorry. That's what it is. Anyway, I think it's important to have these conversations. You know, sometimes you gotta loosen the tie a little bit and talk and just be real and have conversations with people, and just let everybody know, you know, that you know, to each his own. You got to stay prayed up out here, okay? Because a lot of people can be very deceptive. A lot of people could, you know, tell you different types of stories, and you know what I mean, tell you it's love and they care about you and all these different things, and before you know it, you know, they're on to the next one because, you know, hypergamy exists. You know, women want to find the next best thing. So, you know, so protect how you're moving around and make sure you're choosing the right people that's worthy of you. And that's on both ends, you know, worthy of you and willing to actually keep what you guys have sacred. But if she's not, don't be delusional, right? The two stories tie in perfect because Kevin, I just did a segment earlier on Kevin Samuels. He was talking about how, you know, sometimes people create their own realities. So everyone is telling this man she's for the streets, and the reality he's creating in his mind is that can't be. That's not how I feel when I'm with her. Okay. All right, bro. Good luck with that. But what say you? That's it for me. I've done all my pontificating. I've spoken on the subject enough. Obviously, I want to welcome your feedback. What do you think about this particular subject matter? Is it true that men be crashing out over this very subject matter? You know, is there things that could be done differently? Weigh in. Let me know what you think about it. And let's have a conversation. Let's discuss it. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Like and subscribe if you're not connected. Stay connected so you can get the notifications of the latest and greatest videos. And again, share your thoughts. It might be constructive and enlightening to somebody on this platform. All right, guys. As always, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you tuning in, giving me any of your time. Obviously, we're having candid conversations. We want it to be real. We want it to be honest. And so I'm sharing this with you guys to, you know, to enlighten you, and hopefully you're getting something out of the content. So as always, thank you for joining me. God bless you, and be well until the next segment. Later.